Good morning, everybody. You're listening to Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Segal Network. Our show is sponsored by Abeles and Heymann. We taste better. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Naomi Nachman. I'm about all the food, all the time. I love food. I love to shop for it, cook it, eat at restaurants, anything food related. I'm a kosher personal chef. My business is called the Aussie Gourmet, and I cook for people for Shabbos, for Yontif, Rosh Hashanah, bat mitzvahs in Alaska. We'll talk more about that later on in the show. Anytime you don't feel like cooking, give me a call. I hope you'll tune in every week and hear about my exciting food traveling and where I ate, what I ate, sharing of great recipes, ideas. But I want to hear from you guys as well. So shoot me an email, naomi@nachumsegal.com. ZK, can we just lower the headphones a little bit? Thank you. Even loud for me. Okay, great. Thank you. And you can follow me on Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, all those social media outlets. And I have a website, theaussiegourmet.com. And you can join up on my newsletter. I send out one a week with some recipes and what's coming up on Table for Two and, lots of fun ideas. So if you eat something, share it with me. I'd love to hear about it. I just want to share something with you from our friends at Kol Foods. Kol Foods, spelled K-O-L, puts glut kosher meat and ethics on the same plate. Kol Foods makes sure its meat is in harmony with nature, neighbors, and tradition, all the way from farm to fork. Their beef and lamb are 100% grass-fed and grass-finished, and none of their animals are injected with hormones. And the results are both humane and delicious. Try the lamb chops or duck's breast, and I'm sure you will agree. Order by September 16th to receive free shipping through the Manhattan Buying Club. Use coupon Naomi to receive 5% off the entire store through September 22nd. For more info, kolfoods.com. I got to say, I'm really excited that I'm the coupon code. So check them out. I've got an amazing show lined up right here on Table for Two on the Lower East Side this morning. We've had a couple of chilly days there because Sunday we started off boiling hot at the kosher, I always say it wrong, at the kosher Southern Connecticut Kosher Barbecue Festival out in Connecticut. And it was a beautiful day. We had the guests last week. We had Dawn and Shevlin and Shaban and Warren Rachmacher, and of course Fleisch Gordon. We're here in the studio along with Seth from Abeles and Heymann, and we discussed the amazing upcoming barbecue, and it was, now that it's passed, it was amazing. I want to congratulate Mordechai Strix, who was the grand champion, and his booth name was Uncle Moishi and the Mitzvah Men. Mitzvah girls, right? Get it? Mitzvah girls, because he has daughters. So, that was very cute, and it was really an incredible day. And I'm already counting down till next barbecue season. Well, all the Long Island one and Chicago one and Atlanta one, tons of new barbecue festivals will be popping up all over the place. I've met up with lots of fellow foodies there. Shifra Klein, who's actually joining me in the studio today from Joy of Kosher. Shifra and Shlomi were there, and Ilan Kornblum, and Ronnie Fine, and Liz Rubin from Kosher Like Me. It was just a really great day. So, it's unbelievable. That was kind of like the last, hurrah for the summer. And we actually, does she need that? Okay, we'll give you the microphone there. There you go, Shifra. I think we started off our summer together, July 1st.
Exactly, that's true. We started and ended it
together, and
with barbecue.
With barbecue and a really great food.
Yeah, I mean,
in the middle,
better than brisket, ribs, chili. So.
I know. I was so I couldn't even look at food for dinner last Sunday night. I had a little miso. My kids wanted sushi because we were fleishik all the way.
Okay, exactly.
I didn't, we didn't want to have fleishik twice a day.
Right, this is like you're eating brisket at 11 a.m. So.
Yeah, it was a little much. So we actually went to Stop, Chop and Roll and got some sushi, and I had some miso soup because I just couldn't even look at any more food. But Shifra and I started off our summer together. We had a meal together at Yuda Schloss's house as part of the kitchen surfing kosher kitchen surfing project, which is run by Yuda Schloss, who is otherwise known as Chassid and Hipster. Amazing. He's the hippest guy I know. He's so creative, so talented as a chef, and he's started, and I'm going to have him in person in the studio, but he invited a bunch of media people, the Kleins, Shifra and her husband Shlomi, myself. Who else was there from media? From Tablet K,
Tablet,
Kosher Tablet magazines.
I'm not so good with names like you. Before you were like reading off names, so I don't remember. But
You're right. There was a few media people.
there
and
were,
then, of
yeah,
course,
and then there were a bunch of foodies.
right. So, like
Yeah.
Saul Toplitsky, my next guest, we're going to be talking to him soon. So, can we give Saul a little wave? Okay. You can actually say hi.
Hello.
There you go. You did it. I also met Saul there, and he told me what he did with coffee, which we'll have him later on in the show. As you can see, we are all got large cups of iced coffee. So, yeah, Schiffer and I are going to drink away.
Really good.
For our little chat about the gorgeous US magazine. I just want to finish touching base about kitchen surfing. It was an amazing event.
Yeah, it was incredible.
It was incredible. Yuta brought in Chef Eric Bolyard, who is probably the most talented chef I've met and worked with. Not to say that everyone else isn't talented, but this guy is through the roof. What he did was incredible. Food I've never had before. You can go onto my Instagram page and see some of the food. So he prepared the food, and then I said to Yuta at the end of the meal, and this is right before I was going to Australia. Remember, I had gone to Australia this summer for my cousin's wedding, and I said, I'd really like to host this event. And what people did was they actually paid to attend the event. Like, there were some media people, and then people, rather than going to a restaurant, you pay to eat this incredible food at someone's house. It was kind of like a dinner party setting that you paid to go to. It was unusual, but fabulous. So I ended up hosting one about 2 weeks ago in my house, and Chef Eric came to my house with his team, and Raphael and Yuta came, and they cooked up a storm in my house. And once again, those photos and video are on Instagram and Facebook. We smoked some yellow cherry tomatoes in my backyard. If you can go on Instagram and watch that video, it's incredible.
I saw it. It's fascinating.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I want a lesson in that. So, just go check that out. Actual smoking in it through a Ziploc bag with a mini smoking machine. It was insane.
It's amazing how much flavor gets into it, right?
We need a lesson in that. And sous vide. SOUS, new word, VIDE. That whole new, it's not even new, but that cooking process where you're cooking food in a pressure cooker in water, circulating air. It was amazing. So
Yeah.
Look out for more of the kitchen surfing, kosher kitchen surfing through Yuta Schloss events that you can attend. It was definitely an incredible night. So, yeah. Now it's time to talk about the next.
Yeah, I mean, you were mentioning kitchen surfing, so we had gone to the event as well.
Yeah.
And we're just as inspired as you. So I was talking to Yuda, and we were like, we're doing the Hamish issue in the magazine. So we wanted to see what his chefs could come up with, like sort of a play on classic Jewish food.
Love it.
So we got Chef Srilly Saber came to our kitchen, and he cooked us a huge meal, and it's all in the magazine. And we call it Kitchen Surfing the New Way to Eat Out, because it's like we brought the chef to us.
Yeah.
So we learned so much, and he made incredible food, but like things like brisket, plays on gefilte fish. It was really cool.
Yeah, so I have a lot of questions about that kind of stuff because it's unreal. Whoops, I nearly knocked over the coffee. Because there's a lot of twists on stuff. I'm just going to hold up. For those of you who don't know and you're listening to us for the first time, you can also watch our show on YouTube on the Nachum Segal Net channel. Nachum has his own channel. So you can just, watch it now or any time, our latest shows. So you can watch along or listen along as well. So I'm just going to hold up for those who get to watch, who are watching or now or at a later time. The Gorgeous Joy of Kosher. It has a beautiful round braided challah.
That was the winner. We did a contest to choose the cover on Facebook.
Yeah.
So this was the most popular
Yeah, I
choice.
voted for this one also.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
good.
just so traditional.
Yeah, it's very traditional.
And it's, part of the Hamisha issue.
Yeah.
Hamish or Hamisha. Depends on where in Europe you were
all
from.
the same thing, right?
Right? So I saw, I needed to get a copy of this because I knew you were coming in, and I bumped into your husband in Gormeglat parking lot, and I said, Shlomi, you didn't come in the mail yet? And he's like, I've got one for you, don't worry. I was going to make sure you had one before Shifra came in. So I go like, what's this bump? So he goes, open it up. I open it up, and there's burn gel medication.
Yeah, no, it's really cool though. It works.
This is great, speaking from experience,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's really cute. So, I always have tubs
It's
of
cute.
burn
They wanted our readers to try it, so they got
Okay,
it in, yeah.
not that we want anyone to get burnt.
No.
For shalom. It's just in
It does
case.
happen to us.
It
though,
does happen
occasionally.
Yeah, you know what? I'll touch the oven rack.
Yeah, you always
You
get
see
those
the
little
stripes.
like lines. Yeah.
So I still have one little one left from Pesach.
Yeah.
Taken a while.
Brings back memories.
I know. We got to focus now on Rosh Hashanah. So Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous edition. Let's talk about some of the amazing things. Everything's a Hamisher twist.
Yeah.
So all the way from stuffed cabbage, gefilte fish, chicken soup.
Yeah. So basically, we did like sort of we perfected classic recipes. Literally, for example, we have worked on a yapchik recipe for a year. Yeah. I am not exaggerating. So it's like the perfect yapchik, or if you're not going to put the meat in, the perfect potato kugel.
Okay, can we just talk about yapchik? Because actually,
it's so
how
good.
I got my gig on this plate on the Nachum Segal Network, Miriam had me in as a guest.
Okay.
And we started talking about yapchik, and you say, I think you even say it differently than
I say yapchik, but I don't know.
And I say, look, I'm Australian. Everything has got a different rule there.
Yeah.
Tomato, you know. And we started talking about yapchik.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Right, so this was kind of like our door that opened up to this whole amazing table for two, which I've been so blessed with. But here, the yapchik, here they're spelling it, Yapchik. Could you tell us a little bit about the history? Because I tried when I started writing article, I have it in my head, so I had to write it down because I wanted to run it in the Jewish Home newspaper out in the 5 towns, and I didn't. I needed
we
some
actually
research.
tried to find the history, like where's it from.
Yeah, goodness.
We couldn't really find like a clear answer. There's one Rebbe that eats it like traditionally every week, but like we don't know exactly where it originated from. But despite the lack of knowledge in its origination, it's really good.
I know, right?
It's sort of like maybe it's Polish cholent, a Polish version of cholent.
Right.
But that's what it is, basically. It's meat and potatoes, and it cooks for a very, very long time. And we actually work to perfect it. Or we have a chicken soup recipe that's just amazing. But then we did plays on different things, like even with cholent. So we did the classic cholent, and then we did, there's hamin, and then there's, which is a Sephardi.
Hamin.
Yeah,
Hamin.
I can't do that.
Hamin.
And then we did sort of like a paella cholent, which was interesting. Like,
like Spanish, right?
Spanish. So we did like the classics with twists. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very clever. Yeah, I'm not the biggest cholent person. Like, I think it's actually originally like they say cassoulet, like
exactly.
bean stew that's been cooked long.
I was once in a restaurant and they were like, okay, so one of the specials is cassoulet, and it sounded so fancy. But then when he described it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is cholent. So since I have it every week, I passed on that.
Yeah, I agree. But I do like chili. We had some amazing chili at the barbecue thing the other day.
Chili is, I would say, American cholent, right?
Right. Yeah, okay, let's call it that. We don't eat chili in Australia, but we definitely eat cholent, brought over from Europe.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely play around with my cholent, and, I said it's never the same twice.
It's fun. Yeah, so the yapchik was really something that we worked on. Actually, my husband was obsessed with it. So he was the one that every single week, all his Facebook friends are like, we must taste this yapchik. It's just, it's really just like an amazing potato kugel that has flinken inside.
Right.
And it cooks for hours, so it's really good.
So we call it, to people who don't know what an overnight potato kugel with meat at the bottom, when I try to describe what it is.
That's a good description.
It is fantastic. My next door neighbour, her sister-in-law, Lauren Gelbzak in Muncie, she makes hers in a crock pot. So shout out to you.
Yeah.
I have to watch her do it one of these times. I make mine in a 9x13 pan or oven to tableware. And what I found is I cook it for an hour and a half, say Friday afternoon, or any time. Like, I actually have some in the freezer from Rosh Hashanah.
Oh, okay.
I cook it for like an hour and a half, so the meat is cooked. And then what I do is I cool it. I stick it in the freezer, and then
that's smart.
Yeah,
and then
2 days, a day before Yom Tov, I just let it defrost, even on the counter, because I don't have to worry about getting soggy. Like, usually potato kugel, if you freeze it, you can't defrost it. It's got to go, and this is a tip for all kugels.
Oh, that's a good tip.
It's got to go, and we're talking about maybe cooking in advance now for Rosh Hashanah. When you defrost kugels, it's got to go from the freezer to the oven, low and slow heating it. Because if you defrost it, all those ice particles, the minuscule ice particles, defrost and make everything soggy, and you're like, oh, this is disgusting. It tastes frozen.
Right.
But if it goes straight into the oven, the little particles evaporate immediately, and you're just left with a crispy, delicious. So I do that with my yapchik, and then, I pour some water. Do you put? I can't remember the recipe. Do you pour water over it?
No. So there is water in the recipe.
Okay.
But he doesn't. Some people put like water under sort of to create steam in the oven. There's different techniques.
Oh, that's a
But-
cool.
so he tried all of them.
Yeah, and
So he didn't need it. No, you don't need to do that.
so I was pouring water
on top.
on top
Okay.
right before, because my recipe does not have, it just has onions, eggs, potatoes, and salt.
Okay.
And
And oil.
no oil. I feel
Oh.
like the meat's so fatty already.
Okay.
and I use Yukon Gold potatoes. That's
Okay.
my potato choice, favorite ones. And I put the water on it, and then I cover it tightly, and then I put it in the oven at 200. So
Okay.
I'll do that. Like, I know it's going to be Yontif on the Friday afternoon, second day Yontif. So, I'll probably take it out of the fridge even Erev Yontif.
Right.
Put it in the fridge to start slowly defrosting and make sure it's defrosted before it goes in at 200 degrees. It's just a great alternative at these 3-day Yontifs.
Yeah, it's something good to have and make in advance.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
yeah, I'm all about trying to cook in advance
Yeah,
a little bit. I've already
Makes a
done
difference.
tons of soups and muffins and
Oh, cool.
yeah, so gotta try and stay on top. Yeah,
I'll call you if I'm in a.
yeah. And if you're in a bind,
Yeah.
we'll see what we've got. Okay, so let's just who is Elise?
Elise
Glickman.
Glickman is
she's a
travel
traveler.
writer. She's based in LA and she travels the world. And
More
when
than
she
me.
Goes, she goes to a lot of places. So she always has us in mind. And she recently visited Switzerland and spent a day or two focusing on kosher. And she went to 3 main cities and just went to see like all the kosher restaurants that are available, the kosher supermarkets. So there's a complete guide as to like where to go, where you could eat. It's just really interesting. It's interesting to see the different kosher restaurants and establishments that are out there. One of them even made a cookbook with the students in the school next door, which was really cute.
Oh,
It was part of the story, yeah.
Oh, that's
And then we
very
also
cute.
spoke with Schmerling, Mendy Schmerling from
Schmerling.
Schmerling Chocolate because they're based in Switzerland, so that was interesting.
Yeah, and they have really nice
yeah.
pictures. I've definitely
Yeah,
got
so she-
Switzerland on the map on
What?
my list that I want to go to.
I know,
is
it's really
Switzerland.
one of those places. So Elise brings us there.
Okay, great. Now we don't have to go. Okay, and then of course you've got Gil Marks.
Gil Marks, he's so brilliant.
Yeah, and we just want to keep wishing him a refuah shalema. As he's,
Exactly, yeah.
trying to hopefully get better very soon because we need him and we need his amazing. There is no one like Gil
Yeah,
Marks.
so when we were planning this issue, we call it the Hamish issue. So what is Hamish food? And he was the first person that we thought to ask anything about kosher food, that you have any questions.
He's the
I mean,
man.
his cookbooks are such a wealth of information. So that's a great resource. And so we asked him to write it. So he wrote about Baladi food, which is Middle Eastern Jewish food. And then he also wrote about Hamish food, and he wrote about where different flavors and tastes originated from, why some people like sweeter foods, some people like more savory foods. And then we're all like, baba ganoush and things like that originated from. So it's really interesting. And we divided it according to different types of food. So
right.
it's easy to
I'm
read
gonna
and
just
it's
hold
fun.
that up.
And it's just very informative. And it like sort of introduces the issue. It's like, what is this issue about? This is what it's about.
And
So-
you're right, singing the praise of Hamish.
Yeah. Hamish is like home food. Yeah.
Right, yeah. I always
Foods
say
of
the
the
Hamisher
home.
cooks are the best cooks.
Yeah.
You know what? I love those big high cakes.
Yeah.
Those big sponge cakes.
I mean, I think anybody like home style cooking or anybody that has recipes from what doesn't matter where you're from. I mean, that's like really the ultimate, right?
Right.
It's like the ultimate comfort food.
And it's great to have these amazing cookbooks out there with amazing recipes and twists, and we've modernized them.
Yeah.
But sometimes back to the basics is
Yeah, exactly.
also really good.
Exactly.
I try to like up the ante with my kids for dinner every once in a while. And last night I was so busy. I'm going to Alaska for a couple of
Oh,
days.
wow.
I know, to cook for a bat mitzvah. It's like really super exciting. So I had to, I have some older kids and some younger kids. So the older kids are watching the younger kids at the house. And I wanted to give them supper, so I was preparing like different things they could cook and freeze. Speaking about planning ahead, so eggplant parmesan and some chicken
Right.
dishes and sauce. But for dinner last night, I said I'm super busy. I'm getting ready for the show. I'm getting ready for the trip. Getting ready to plan to cook for this bat mitzvah where I can take nothing with me because everything's over there. So I'm just trying to get it all done. So I just made chicken and potatoes for dinner.
Oh my gosh, I was just thinking chicken and potatoes.
It is
Yeah.
a hit. They were like
It's like the
licking the bowl
classic
clean.
supper. Yeah.
Yeah, you
What's
can't
better
go
than
out
that?
and a salad.
Yeah.
So I have all girls, so my kids love to eat salad. And the leftover chicken, they're shredding up and putting it in
Yeah.
their lunch for the next day. So they were all having chicken salad for lunch today. So it's really good that, there's
Exactly.
always, the basics
Exactly,
that
the
keep
basics.
us going. But I like
Totally.
the twists. Let's not take away that
So yeah, we have the basics and the twists. Yeah. So
Okay.
here we have our honey challah that you're looking at.
Right, so I'm just flicking through the magazine. I'm just going to hold this up. You saw the beautiful cover for Joy of Kosher. I'm holding that up if you're just tuning in now. And then I'm going to flip it around. Have we got that? You've actually got a how-to.
Yeah.
There's some actually really cool clips.
I know
on
because I'm like when
Facebook.
I read instructions about like the braid number 1, braid number 2,
Yeah.
braid number 3. I don't know what's going on.
They have that in Spice and
So,
Spirit. I
yeah,
could not do
I
it.
get
It's
so
one
confused.
of those
my
things.
my 9-year-old son helped me figure out how to make a 6th braid challah like last year because I was like I did not know what was going on. So I said if we're gonna do this, we have to do the step by step. You know, it makes such a difference. So here we have
Yeah,
it.
so it's
And
really
just
clever.
A really clear cut way of how to make the shape.
Okay, but now I want to talk about who I don't even know
Shannon
who wrote this.
Sarna.
Who is she? Because I
She-
never saw these amazing filled challahs. This is
So she
Silan
uses
and Trina.
Silan, which is date honey. So it's honey in honor of Rosh Hashanah, together with Trina. So it gives you that like Israeli feel. It's just a nice touch, and it's not too sweet.
Did you get to try this?
Of course, it was amazing.
Oh,
It was
I'm telling you,
incredible.
I got to come on one of these photo shoots.
You're invited.
Oh, I know. We just got to coordinate.
know.
Incredible. I
Yeah.
like the whole. You know what I saw? I can't remember whose post or whose Facebook page I saw it on. Challah filled with pastrami.
Oh wow! I think it's her. Shannon
Is that
Sarna.
her?
Yeah. So she's an editor of the Nasher, and so she's been making challah.
Oh.
Like I've been like salivating over her challah for a while, and so I got in touch with her, and so in honor of, I feel like challah is such an integral part of everybody's life.
Yeah.
No matter what time of year it is now, it's honey challah, but every week everyone's making challah. And so we're doing a challah column. So every issue we're going to have different types of challah inspired by the different times of year. So this
love
is our
that.
intro article to that. So we're going to have some really cool things coming up. Hanukkah time, Purim time. I mean, not Pesach, but
Yeah,
we'll have
funny
to skip
about
it for that.
Funky matzah.
Maybe.
Gil has a whole thing on matzah. I think
Yeah.
I read it in Joy of Kosher.
So we're doing now, actually, in honor of Yom Tif, we're doing a subscription special for $19.99. So it's
Oh.
a great time to sign up.
How do people do that?
You go online, joyofkosher.com, or there's a phone number. I don't know it by heart, so
Okay.
I'll check. But
We'll
you-
check.
yeah.
Well, during the show, Shifra will check
will
while I'm
check.
talking away. Shifra's going to have a quick look. But you can always go to the website, joyofkosher.com to find out.
Yeah,
Yes.
joyofkosher.com.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you with the number.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So, my grandmother on my mother's side
Yeah.
made really sweet gefilte fish.
Yeah.
My father's mother, both of their blessed memories, both passed away, used to make salty gefilte fish. So always when it would come to Yontif time in my parents' house, there was always sweet or salty. And both my parents had very strong opinions because
That's what
I'm
they
from a
grew up with.
house full of foodies. My parents are also big foodies. And it was always like the battle who was going to win.
Right.
My father wasn't looking. My mother would dump in the sugar. And my father would dump in salt. And you know what? It was always pretty good. My grandmother was
sounds
the best
good, yeah.
gefilte fish maker. But I like that you had all these cool twists.
Yeah, so it was inspired also by my grandmother. I mean, like, one of my favorite dishes from her is her gefilte fish. So we did some really fun things with that. Yeah, some fun updates.
Yeah, I'm going to
It's
try
really
that.
cool.
And some of it, you remember you can cook on Yontif as well.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think people should go into that big panic. And next
Right.
week I'm having on the show Naomi Ross with Jay Buxbaum. And we're going to talk all about the Simanim I had last year on the show. And if
Oh,
you want to
cool.
actually hear last year's show, you can go onto the archives, nachumsiegel.com. You can go onto, let's see if I get that right, iTunes into the podcasts for Table for Two. And you can, I don't know if through the app also you can hear old shows as well. Old shows, archived shows is probably a better term. And it was with Pagit Rabag and Chaya Frischman. It was, pardon me, very, very, very informative. And I learned a lot. So I'm looking forward to having Naomi in because she's a wealth of information.
Yeah, a wealth of information. She also, Naomi did an article for us on
Yes.
sushi.
Yeah.
So we have sushi salads, and that was like sort of, we were going from the classics to like the more modern. So now like everybody's eating sushi. It's such a big deal, and like sushi salads are the newest type of salads.
Right, and
so Naomi did a very like a bunch
I'm
of
gonna
different
just flip to
styles,
it.
and they were amazing. They
Yeah,
were so incredible.
I know she's done a few things for you before. She did that whole Indian thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
It's
I'm
before that,
That's
but
before
yeah.
that. Okay, so
that's
there
it.
it is. Here we go. So we got to talk about agar agar,
Yeah.
and then here's the sushi inspiration by Naomi Ross. She'll be on next week. We can talk to her a little bit about that and how she got her inspiration. Stephen Weinberger, aka Fleisch Gordon, a guest on the show last week. What is agar agar? I used to see it in non-kosher cookbooks. I didn't know he was such a. I thought he was just a barbecue guy. I didn't know he was.
No.
Had no idea he was.
You mentioned sous vide when you started the show, so he had done a sous vide article for us about a year ago, how to do it at home, like without any fancy immersion circulator machines or anything like that. So
we have to talk about that because
yeah,
that
really
was
interesting.
Did we have sous vide food, Saul and Shifra, when we were
It's possible.
at
Was anything
the other house, at
I'm not sure, but
at Utis?
I know Hassan and Hipster does a lot of sous vide stuff.
Ah.
I'm not sure if they did it at the kitchen surfing dinner.
yeah, he actually does his cholent sous vide.
Yeah, he does everything.
He's unreal.
Oh wow.
But so talk
Sous
to
vide
me about
challenge.
what agar agar is.
It's just a natural. It's based for it's like it comes from seaweed, and it's like sort of like a gelatin type of powder, and we used it to. I was once at Pardes and he had a salad, and he had these little like gelatinous cubes of balsamic. And so that's what it is, and we used it to make balsamic cubes. And what you do is you basically boil anything that you want with the agar agar. So we made, in this issue, we
Yeah.
have fruit punch jello. So that's great like for dessert. And then we did balsamic cubes and honey sheets, which are also great like to put little cubes of them in salads, or the basil sheets we put in chicken soup. And it just adds a different texture and flavor to the dish. It makes it really unique. So you get like the flavor of basil, you get the flavor of balsamic or whatever you're looking for, but it's just in a different texture.
So gourmet.
Yeah.
This is really, you're keeping us on our toes.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Joy of Kosher. You and Jamie and Tamar, the whole Joy
Yeah.
of Kosher team. I hope I'm not leaving anyone out from them, from the Joy of Kosher team. But the magazine just, and I know I say it every edition, that it just gets better and
Thank you.
better. And I look forward to the next one
Thanks,
coming
yeah.
out. I guess Hanukkah time?
Hanukkah time, yeah.
Hanukkah time.
It comes out 6 times a year.
6 times a year. Okay, like
Yeah.
every other month. It takes me a while to read them. This is just an absolutely beautiful magazine, and
Thank you.
I'm going to be taking. I read it last night, but not in great detail.
Oh, so now you have something to read on the plane.
Now
right?
I have a 10-hour plane ride to Alaska. Well, I'll be reading, and we're going to. They were amazing. Shifra is giving us a bunch of magazines to give to the Jewish community out in Alaska. So yeah, thank you.
And it's
Shifra.
also available on all digital to download
Right.
digitally. So you
On
can
your
check that
iPad
out.
or
Yeah, on
your-
the iPad, Android, whatever you have. So
okay. Everywhere
Yeah.
you go in the world,
exactly.
Joy of Kosher comes with us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Shifra.
Thank you so much.
I don't know if you can stick around to hear about all this amazing coffee.
Well, I drank like half of it already. I just didn't want to get too hyper for the show.
I
so
know,
I'm
right?
saving the
We're
rest for
already
later.
like, oh, giddy.
It's really delicious.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
great.
so excited about it.
Yeah, so...
And this jug is so cool.
I know. So I have 2 of them. So I have 2 of them in my house now. I'm not giving them back. Is that okay?
That's great. A lot of people take them and they'll buy like 9 of them and make a menorah out of it for Hanukkah.
Oh, no way, that's so
they can
cute.
recycle the jugs and everything. You want me to move
Yeah,
over?
why don't you move up one? Thank you, Shifra, for joining us. It's Erev Yontif, Erev Shabbos, Erev everything. Thank you for joining us. I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Okay, Saul, you're in the hot seat now. How you
I'm
doing?
in the hot seat. I'd rather be in the cold seat. I'm stay away from the hot stuff, but cold coffee is where it's at.
Excellent. So you and I met back at Yuda's house, and we exchanged some information, and then David Mossberg said, we got to get serious now. Time to get serious. He's my new to-go-to foodie guy. Like, he's
David Mossberg's the man.
He's unreal. David, I hope you're listening to the show today. We're giving you a huge shout out. He's really, really something special. And before we just talk a little bit more about the coffee, I just want to talk about Kol Foods. Spelled K-O-L, Foods puts glut kosher meat and ethics on the same plate. Kol Foods makes sure its meat is in harmony with nature, neighbours and tradition, all the way from farm to fork. Their beef and lamb are 100% grass-fed and grass-finished, and none of their animals are injected with hormones. And the results are both humane and delicious. Try their ribs or chicken fillets. Order by September 16th to receive free shipping through the Manhattan Buying Club. Use the coupon code Naomi to receive 5% off the entire order through September 22nd. For more information, go to colefoods.com. Okay, yeah. So now we're switching from meat to dairy,
Yeah,
we can do that on the radio.
My mouth was drooling when you guys were talking about all these neat recipes going on and pastrami challah.
I'm sorry, guys, I don't have food. You have to stick around when we have a food show. But we get to drink now.
Well, I figure I'm a guest, so I'll bring you my coffee so everyone can enjoy it.
Yeah, I love this. My family is obsessed. We just finished. David bought us one over. I ordered one for Shabbos. And I finished it this morning. And this is now going to be my second cup. But you made this for me. So, I'm going to try it on air. I already said my bracha this morning on coffee. So I'm just going to have a little sip. You talk about the name of the company.
So, I'll take it back one step. When I was in Israel for the year, I drank coffee with a pound of sugar and a gallon of milk in it, and I swore off coffee. And I said, why would anybody want to drink this garbage? One of my friends introduced me to a cup of coffee. I started learning more about the industry, and then they introduced me to cold brew coffee.
Right. What is cold brewed coffee? What does that mean?
So most places when you get a cup of iced coffee, it's really a hot cup of coffee that's sitting on the burner all day, and then they put it in the fridge at the end of the day, and that's your cold cup of coffee. What cold brew is a process that's an 18-hour process where it's never hot. The coffee is always, it's made cold. The beans are basically in a vat, soaking in all the good stuff, and all the flavors are coming out of it. There's also a 70% less acidity in the coffee.
I noticed that right away. Right away. Now, I'm going to just insult American coffee. I'm really sorry. I hope you forgive me. There's something different about American coffee, say, to Australia, European coffee. It's got a bitter, acidy taste.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of reasons why most companies roast like that. When you're roasting in big batches, if you burn the coffee and you make it taste nasty, no one can tell the difference between new or old coffee. So they do that for that reason. When it's terrible. But, with cold brew, it actually, you're able to extract all the flavors. It's like a party in your mouth going on when you drink the thing.
Party in your mouth? I love that.
You
tongue tickling. I say it's tongue tickling.
Tongue tickling, absolutely. And, your coffee, doesn't even have sugar in it.
No,
and
I never put sugar in my coffee.
Right, and it doesn't need it because it actually naturally takes in the flavors. Going back to the process, it's a 18-hour process. There's a lot of people who tell me that they can't drink coffee anymore because they have stomach issues and all that. Once they try my coffee, they realize that because it's 70% less acidity than regular coffee, they're able to enjoy a cup of coffee again, and it's good coffee.
Oh, it is really good coffee, and David bought it over 2 weeks ago. It was right before the kitchen surfing at my house, so my kitchen was very busy and hot, and Eric was cooking up a storm, and in comes in at 4:00 a nice freezing cold keg of this coffee. I call it a keg. Is it right?
Well, that's our growler, but we actually just launched the coffee kegs, where you can get a kegerator of coffee in your office, your home, whatever you want it to do. So you have actually on tap. It's a pretty cool thing. It's like a beer tap.
I'll be one of the people that if you need people to sample it before it goes out, I'll be happy.
The problem is we've seen we put it in a couple of houses and there's still a couple of people just putting their mouth to it and they weren't sleeping for like a week. But now it's
actually it's definitely got a lot of caffeine. Are you making this in a decaf version?
We do have a decaf version. Yeah, we call it the nighttime version. So it does have a little bit of caffeine in it because all decaf does have caffeine in it, but it definitely has a lot less. A lot of people do it because they enjoy my coffee all day, and then they realize after like 2:00 in the afternoon, if you start drinking too much of it, by like 4:00 in the morning, like why can't I sleep? So we do have a decaf version. Currently, we just have the regular and the decaf, and those are two. And there's no flavors. It's all natural, just coffee bean and water.
Right, so there's no sugar in this whatsoever.
No sugar.
Okay, how do you select your beans? Are you the guy that flies out to Colombia or wherever else to get beans from? How does this whole process work?
So the whole process started. I have a lot of good friends who are roasters in the industry, and basically I went to them and I tasted it, and I started making it as a joke. My wife was drinking I don't even say the name online. It ends with it starts with an N and ends in something else. It has that the green lady, you know what I'm talking about, that nasty chain. They got a lot of stores out there. So my wife started drinking that coffee, and it bothered me that she was just drinking bad coffee.
Not good.
Terrible.
They went out in Australia. No Australians drink it.
They should go out here too, but you know what? It's not so bad. Having them around, people would appreciate my coffee a lot more. So
sure.
I started making it at my house, and I went to a couple of my roasters, and I said, "Okay, talk to me about what am I doing right, what am I doing wrong." And I went to 20 different baristas. They all gave me feedback on it, and then I came back with it. So this bean is it's a mix. I came up with a good blend between an Ethiopian bean and a Guatemalan bean to choose for the coffee. My roaster is a great friend of mine. He's been working with me to come up with the right flavors. He came up with, together, him and I, we both came up with the right flavors for the coffee.
The right balance, like it's like a wine.
It wanted to be like a milk chocolatey kind of flavor with a little fruity, but you know, it's not.
Jay Bookspan needs to be in here because he would talk about wine with all the little hints of this and
Yeah,
hints of that.
it's very similar to wine and alcohol, where you know your palate can taste different tastes going on there. It's fun to watch people taste my coffee, and they tell me what they're tasting. Some people taste a little nutty, some chocolatey, milk chocolatey, and all of those stuff. And you're entitled to taste whatever you want, you know. But
So you poured me mine with whole milk. I usually drink
Chalvi Yisrael.
Chalvi Yisrael whole milk, Golden Flow. I usually drink low fat. Skim milk tastes like water. I don't even drink skim milk, and my dietitian said it's better to have a little extra fat in it. It's a bit more filling and a bit healthier. Women need to drink calcium, and it's got more calcium in it if it's low fat. So I drink like 2% or whatever. It's not as creamy as when you have it with a whole milk. I love whole milk. I could drink gallons of just milk by itself. I know that makes people feel like that's a really weird thing to do, but I love to drink milk even in my 40s. So I really enjoy the whole milk in this.
Right. Well, it's, you know, when you put in like skim milk, as you said, when it makes it look like dirt, you know. So I just gave it a little bit of thing, and whatever.
It's
you know,
really good.
I usually drink it black, straight up black.
My dad, what do we call it something in Australia? A tall black.
A tall black.
A tall black. Flat white, tall black.
Flat white.
Tall black.
I've had flat whites. Flat whites are pretty good.
Like a cappuccino kind of thing.
Latte cappuccino.
Yeah. Okay, so if I wanted, right now it's still beautiful outside, and we're going to be going to the bus stop in 3 months' time, where it's going to be freezing outside, and I wait with my daughter right now with a cup of iced coffee in the morning, York iced coffee. But if I want a hot, I shouldn't heat it. And that was like when I was writing questions for you, I'm like, is this going to be good hot?
Well, I can tell you that if you ask me if you should make my coffee hot, I would tell you no. There are people who take my coffee, put it in the microwave, and they tell me it's the best cup of coffee they've ever had.
Okay.
So
good.
You know, I don't know what they were drinking prior to having my coffee, but personally, if you ask me, it should be drank cold 365 days a year. You know, I drink every morning. I have a cup of iced coffee. Start my day off with iced coffee. Sometimes I have 2, 3, 4, and by the end of the day, I'm talking I'm bouncing around the room. You know, and
I'm naturally hyper. So that's like so. This is already like my second cup because I had one this morning. I drained off the last of the coffee that I had, and now I'm having a second cup. I'm definitely feeling the energy from the coffee.
Yeah, it's definitely gives you a little pop. But we're definitely, our labs are definitely working. We're trying to come up with a hot cup that you can make. It'll be more of a concentrate where you just add hot water to it, so you'll still have the same good taste of it. Just adding the hot water. This is already diluted, ready to drink. So if we make it for you, that's ready to just add a couple of drops of the concentrate and then add hot water, you should be able to enjoy a cup of hot coffee as well.
Okay, now I know how to get this coffee. How does everybody else know how to get this coffee? Where are my listeners getting this amazing little bit of heaven every morning that I get to get?
So
I know I'm so corny, right?
right now,
it's really that good.
We deliver to your home. In
You're like the milkman from the 60s.
exactly, yeah, and the seltzer guy, the old seltzer things with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
leave
yeah.
out there.
Yeah,
It's
we even
similar.
had that in Australia.
Yeah. So we're very similar to that. That was our concept where, you go to a store to buy a cup of coffee, you're waiting online for half an hour, you're still bitter, you're nasty in the morning. You don't want to be online over there. We're standing behind all those people, right? So now you're able to have the cup of coffee. It's in your fridge. Shabbos morning is great. You open it up, you have it, you pour it over ice, you're ready to drink it.
I didn't put up hot water this past Shabbos because I had this in my house.
Yeah, it's really good. So you can go onto our website to order it, www.pouringcoffee.com.
Okay, I'm gonna hold this up so people can see. Can people see it? So it's pour POURN coffee COFFEE .com.
Yeah.
And where are you delivering?
So right now we're delivering to the tri-state area on a
Okay.
regular basis. Our price is $18 for that bottle, and that
Okay,
includes,
and it lasts a long time.
that
It really
includes
does.
delivery. It lasts a long time in the fridge. It needs to be refrigerated.
Of course, 'cause
30
you want to
days.
drink it
Yeah,
cold.
it's going to go. Well, not only because you want to drink it cold, it does go bad after about 30 days, if it's humid outside or anything like that.
So you should always keep in the fridge no matter
Always,
what.
yeah.
Well, like with wine, and I know this from Jay, that you need to keep it at a steady temperature.
Yeah, I mean the coffee, it really can. I mean, sitting out here, it's gonna be great. Wherever you drink it, but it needs to be under 68 degrees all the time. So if your house is cool inside, it's okay. But if it's humid, it's gonna kill the coffee. It'll turn it sour.
You know what's really cool? We've got Yontif coming up. I think this is such a great thing to have in the house for Yontif.
Especially for Sukkot.
I was going to say Sukkot, when we met, and I wasn't sure when I'd be able to schedule this in. I said, it was like 2 weeks ago, I'm like, I got to get you in. I got to sit, and I did a little bit of finagling and move around some schedules because I want people to order this.
Right, yeah.
I'm shouting it from the rooftops.
There's actually, I found a great product that works well with it. Kedem or Medek distributors, they have
What's Medek?
Medek is Kedem spelled backwards, but they're a wine distributor for their alcohol business.
Medek is Kedem spelt backwards.
Yeah.
And it's their distribution.
They do alcohol and all that stuff, and they have a great product. It's a vanilla vodka.
Is that the Waldens?
That's the Waldens. And it's
I just sent some to Australia. My best friend Rachel Smith, shout out to you, Racheli. They don't have it in Australia, or they couldn't get it when I was there. So I just bought a bottle, and my mum was just here. She left on
Right.
Monday. She loved this also, by the way.
Right.
I sent it the Walden's creamy vodka back for my friends to try in Australia.
Right, so that's a par of drink, right? And you pour that, you do half coffee and half that, and your body's playing it doesn't know if it should go to sleep or wake up, But it's
Push me, pull ya.
exactly, it's kind of that thing. But it happens to be an amazing taste, and maybe Kedem will give me some dollars for exposure of their product.
Yeah.
But whatever.
You got to meet Jay. He's coming in. We've got to do some prep
but
work.
it's more about having a delicious cup of coffee with whatever you put in it. So if people it's great on Shabbos. It's really Shabbos Shuddis is great and everything else.
I want to just take a little break for our What's for Dinner segment. I'm just looking for my recipe. Okay, here it is. Sorry. No, that's not my recipe. Uh-oh. What did I do with my recipe? I had another set of notes here. Okay. It was going to be a recipe to go with date muffins, which with the coffee. Okay. I'm sure it's around somewhere. Okay. Here it is. I got it.
We're getting
Yeah,
worried.
I've had a lot of coffee today. The brain's like a little woohoo. Okay, so every week on the show we have a segment called What's for Dinner, and we came up with the idea because every day you get that text from the kids, what's for dinner tonight? I got 3 yesterday from 3 hungry teenagers. So we Gourmet Glatt decided they would get together with Table for Two and do a segment of a recipe. So we do a recipe, and I figured a muffin and a coffee might go really well together.
Absolutely.
Right? And I thought date muffin, because date is one of the simanim for Rosh Hashanah. So here is the date. I'm going to post it on my website, theaussiegourmet.com. And you can make these amazing date muffins. And I buy the medjool dates, the big, large dates. I just pull out the pits in the middle, split it open with my fingers. I need 2 cups worth of those, and I put them in 3/4 a cup of boiling water so they kind of rehydrate and get a little bit soft. Then I leave that in a little bowl, and while that's soaking, I take 2 cups of flour, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, a half a cup of oil, and 3/4 a cup of dark brown sugar, 2 eggs and a teaspoon of vanilla, and mix that together. And then when my dates are nice and soft, I put them through my food processor. You can, even if you have it like maybe a little immersion blender, something, if you don't want to get the food processor dirty, but definitely you need to break up the dates in the water. Everything goes in the water and the dates go into the food processor. Blend it up, put it in with the batter, and then you have the date batter, and then you're going to put it inside your little muffin pans and bake it off for goes really fast, 30 minutes, and a little bit of streusel on top if you want, and you have really delicious date muffins. And we actually use them as simanim on the table for Rosh Hashanah, but it's a really great breakfast before shul. It's powers you up for davening, a nice cup of coffee and a nice date muffin before Rosh Hashanah Shachris.
You mentioned shul. The only thing is that if you drink my coffee, you probably will stay up for the rabbi's sermon.
You know what? Did the rabbis pay to say that?
No, they did.
Sponsored by Rabbi so-and-so from Beit Midrash, whatever.
So a lot of people don't drink it on Shabbos so they can sleep during the rabbi's speech, but.
Yeah, this will definitely keep you awake. That's funny. Very nice. Well, it was absolutely fantastic having you in. Anything else that we can share? Quick, here's a question I had for you. We need to sell these sometimes in little minis to go. Are we working on that?
We are working on that.
I saw that question.
We're working on a lot of good things that are happening. We're working not only in the tri-state area, but working, maybe Florida and other places that are warmer all year round.
California.
It's easier on the East Coast first.
Right, I know. We're clanking around.
We want to conquer the whole East Coast before we start with the West Coast, but they're all targets. Mini bottles, ready-to-drink bottles are coming soon.
Right, those Starbucks, those little to-go in the...
Yeah.
What do they call them? Frappuccinos, things.
Yeah, something like that. They put a lot of garbage in it.
Right, but yours is on.
So I'm working on the right thing. We're almost there to be in supermarkets and all on the shelf all over the place. Ready to drink, black. Maybe I'm debating between a 10 or 12 ounce bottle that you can just drink it the way it is, pop it. Like a 5-hour energy type of thing.
Right. What's your background? Are you how did you get into this? Are you in the food industry?
Because
a lot of people do a lot of food things on the side,
this is a full-time side business.
A full-time side business. I like that.
I started I was selling cups actually to all the coffee industry.
Cups.
Hot cup, paper cups.
Okay, you're in the paper good business.
Paper good business, absolutely.
Okay.
And that's how I got introduced to the coffee world. By servicing them and dealing with them and understanding their whole thing. And this really started over Pesach. I was in the Alexander
in
Miami. And I just learned how to make it, and I started making it in my hotel room and bringing it down to the pool. And every day, I had 5 other people asking me, I need a cup of coffee, I need a cup of coffee. Being that it's an 18-hour process, it's not always that it can just give you a cup of coffee.
It's like a yapsik, it's a process.
It's definitely a process, slow, yeah. And it's not Hamish at all, It's
cool. Hamish is like instant coffee.
It's more hippie than Hamish,
Like Yuda.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I used to barter with Yuda for his sandwiches all the time. It was the best barter I've ever done.
Yeah.
But
I want some of his sandwiches.
His sandwiches are amazing. But anyway, back to the Alexander. After Pesach, I got emails and phone calls and everything saying, "I need your coffee now," and I'm like, well, what do you mean you need my coffee now? It was just a Pesach thing. And then, I started doing it. People in shul were telling me it's the best coffee. So
this business is 5 months old?
No. It's about 2 years.
Oh, Pesach 2 years ago, not 5 months ago.
Yeah, no. And then the coffee kegs just launched, and we're really excited about that. So, that's really where we're going. So everyone could just have the kegs all over the place. And really, in your office by the water machine, you'll have.
But it's cool if you're having a brunch, right?
It's cool if you're having a brunch. A lot of people I've done
over Yontif.
I've done a whole coffee bar, hot and cold, at brisses and parties and all that stuff.
People subcontract out to you to do.
Yeah, they want me to do that. have a whole coffee bar, having cappuccinos, lattes, cold brew, and everything else. So we're able to. I know with the coffee industry, I have the beans. I have the right beans for every single type of coffee. Right now, our focus is the cold coffee, but we can definitely do all the parties and everything else.
This is incredible. I really want to wish you the best of luck for this, because you have an incredible product. Tastes good. It has good shelf life. It has all the ingredients, Corny, for like the next best, the next thing in food.
We're definitely working on it, and our goal is just to keep growing and make people enjoy their cup of coffee much more than they had. And I compare it a lot to alcohol and steak and good food, where once you have something that's really great, you're always comparing your next thing to that great cup or great steak. You go to Mike's Bistro and you have a great steak, you say, oh my God, this thing is not as good as Mike's Bistro. So all those things, we just sit there and we want you to have the best cup of coffee, enjoy yourself, and make sure that it's okay to say, I don't want the burnt stuff. It's not, nobody wants that.
Right. I only started drinking coffee once I hit 40. I just never really had a good taste for. My parents were drinking instant. Now my dad's really into his French press, and I got into the French press thing, and it's definitely really better coffee. But when I was in Australia the last few times, and after I turned 40 and I started needing my coffee more, I started drinking Australian coffee in Australia. I'm like, oh my God, this is delicious. And that leaped me forward into drinking in Israel, and I've been lucky enough to travel to Europe. The coffee's much better than in America, and I never really understood why, and apparently it's the whole roasting and toasting process. But now I can have my really good coffee right here in the USA. So, yay.
It's an art. It really is an art. The roasters are great. I'm hoping
roasting here in New York?
Yeah, roasting in New York. The beans also, my beans are very fresh. From the time it's made until you have it, my beans are not more than a week old.
Cool.
So it also adds to the flavor as well. I'm hoping this year to make a couple of trips to some farms and actually meet the farmers who grow.
Where are these farms?
Guatemala. Yeah, they're not.
How exciting!
Yeah, so my roaster told me that I should come with him to meet the farmers, see the people who actually grow the beans. And
you're very into that, talking about cold food meats, right? You want to know where your food comes from and how the whole process was done, and you want to know that was at one with nature, and meet the people that take care of the farms, whether it's cows or beans.
Yeah, no, it's a very.
I think it's so important
to see the whole chain through, so everything's done right. People are treated in the right way. And I'm very excited to actually go to the farms, and I said, is there a hotel there? And they're like, no, we sleep in the farmer's house. And I was like, all right, ready.
That is so cool.
Let's do it.
You'll have to report back to us.
I would definitely report back to you on that once it happens. So I'm hoping, in 2015 to really make a trip and go out there with one of my roasters and
excellent. Do we have a Facebook page, Instagram? Are we working on all that?
We have
social
Facebook.
media is the way to go, peeps.
We have Facebook. We have that's the only social media we're on right now.
We'll have a chat about that.
Everything will be up and running soon. We're really figuring out our structure and our way, what we're going to do before we go strong. And I see how excited you are when your name is a coupon. I'm going to give a coupon to your listeners too. If they put in Naomi, I'll give them $3 off a growler.
Oh,
delivered.
This is the growler. Oh, thanks.
So it'll be $15. So you go on to pouringcoffee.com and you put in the code Naomi, and it'll be a $3 discount.
There you go. I've got 2 coupons. One for Cold Foods meat, high-end quality, amazing meat. And now Naomi goes into pouringcoffee.com for high quality, amazing, fabulous coffee. Wow. Well, thank you very much.
You got it.
Okay, great. I'm just going to start winding down the show a little bit, and then we'll have some more coffee at the end of the show. Wow, that's really exciting, I got to say. I've had a lot of really cool experiences over the summer with eating, and I just wanted to share and give out some shout outs to some of the restaurants that I have eaten at, because I was treated royally, which was so lovely. And I just want to share some of that with our listeners, wherever you are in the world. I'm going to try and eat at the restaurant in your neighborhood. Starting off, my summer, as I mentioned, I ate at Kitchen Club, which was amazing. We had an incredible meal. But after that, the next morning, I was actually on my way to Australia for my cousin's wedding, and I had a 15-hour layover. So it took me 39 hours to get from Woodmere to Sydney, Australia. It doesn't usually take that long, but I had to go from Woodmere to Newark Airport. It was a free ticket, even though I live near JFK. I had to go when the ticket was available for points. So I ate at Vancouver. I have a cousin there. My mother's cousin lives in Vancouver. Shout out to you, cousin Nelson. And we went out to eat at Maple Grill. Absolutely delicious. And they had, I had this great salmon. I don't want to call it a salmon burger. It was a fresh piece of salmon inside this delicious focaccia bread with some sauce. It was delicious. So, you know, if you're out in planning to go to Vancouver, there is really good food out there. In Teaneck, I ate at Nobu Bar and Grill with a bunch of my friends. Every couple of months, me and a bunch of girls that we all used to live here on the Lower East Side together, and we've all moved away. Some are still here, but some have moved away. And so every 2 to 3 months, we try to get together because we all love each other. We're all really close friends, and we all love food. So we thought we would try out Nobu. Of course, I ate in Australia a lot of places. I ate a restaurant called Glicks. I just have to say there. Oh gosh, I should have written the name down because it's going out of my head. Okay, I can't remember what it's called. It was potato latkes with smoked salmon on top, and then an egg, with hollandaise sauce. I can't believe I can't remember the name. Okay, we'll come back. That's all the coffee. So that was really delicious. Amsterdam Burger, I had a burger there. Amazing. I took my kids for the first time. They also have, I believe their meat is also grass-fed. Absolutely delicious.
For the 5 pounds too.
Yeah, they're coming to 5 towns, yeah. Excited? It was all over the blogs. I cannot wait. One of the co-owners with Mike is Marty Katz.
Marty Katz, sure.
Marty Katz, you know, he's an ex-Australian / South African.
Yeah.
So I took my kids there because I rave about it all the time, and it was, holiday time. So I promised my daughter, one of my girls turned 18, so we went there for her lunch for her birthday. It was great. And upper crust, local in Cedarhurst, had a great meal there actually with David Mossberg and Melinda Strauss. We had a nice little meeting, and we ordered these mac and cheese balls. Oh my God, with this bechamel sauce. Oh, I'm still gaining weight from it even from 2 days ago. It was absolutely divine. So I want to do that, give that a big shout out. And I was involved in a bake sale. I usually don't get so involved in bake sales just because I always donate to the bake sales, but this I helped put together. It was in the middle of the summer, the Vergeilim Bodedim, the Lone Soldier Centre. So that was really an incredible, we raised $15,000 in 1.5 days. So that was, and on 1 week's notice, we put it together fast. So it was just really exciting things that we did over the summer. So I just wanted to share all the eating experiences. And Brasserie Halevi, actually Ilan Kornblum called me up and said, let's go out to eat at Brasserie Halevi. They want to do some PR, and they gave us an incredible meal. So that was nice. I love to eat out. If you have a place you want me to eat or try, let me know, because, I love to try different places. When I go to Alaska, I'll be the cook there. There's no restaurants there. I want to just finish up on last week. We had a raffle for Abels and Hyman meat products. Seth offered for a giveaway for the premiere of season 3, and we had a raffle and we pulled the name Shelley Serber out of the hat box, so to speak. So she will be receiving a box of provisions from all kinds of hot dogs and deli meats from Abels and Hyman. So just a little bit of a word about Cole Foods again, because they have incredible meats, and I love the whole grass-fed philosophy. Cole Foods, spelled KOL Foods, puts Glatt kosher meat and ethics on the same plate. Cole Foods makes sure its meat is in harmony with nature, neighbours and tradition, all the way from farm to fork. The beef and lamb are 100% grass-fed and grass-finished, and none of their animals are injected with hormones. The results are both humane and delicious. Try their lamb chops or duck breasts, and I'm sure you will agree. Order by September 16th to receive free shipping through the Manhattan Buying Club. Use the coupon Naomi to receive 5% off the entire order through September 22nd. For more info, go to colefoods.com. So yeah, a bit of a mouthful to say all that, but we did it, and it was a great, exciting show with you. Absolutely. And Shifra Klein was here. We got a big show coming up next week. Naomi Ross and Jay Buxbaum will be in the house. If you've missed any shows, go online, nachumsiegel.com. On the archives, on the app, What else? On YouTube, we got it all right here. Stay listening. We have music right up to Lichtbenching, sponsored by our friends at Kedem. I just want to say Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Stay tuned and have a great week. Take care.